Zoning Meeting Hearing Reorganization Meeting of Monday, 12/2006, 12 p.m. At this time, I'd like to welcome everybody. I hope everybody had a good Christmas. I hope everybody has a happy New Year. Believe me, we all need it. And also, at this time, I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Same to you, Joanne.
At this time, because we did reorganization, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Attorney Dan Longholm. He's going to be appointed as temporary chairman to receive nominations.
Thank you very much. At this time, I would like to receive a nomination from someone on this board to serve as chairperson for the zoning hearing board. Do I have any nominations?
Nominate Joanne Shovelin.
First and second. Roll call. Cardamom.
Aye.
Grabowski.
Aye.
Reckler.
Aye.
Sensi. Aye. Shovelin.
Yeah.
All right. Motion passed. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you, thank you.
You now are in charge of the meeting again.
All right, thank you. And at this time, I'd like to thank the board here for a vote of confidence for my continuation as chair. I just want to give you a little sidetrack. I asked Joe here at church if he wants to be chairman, and he said, you know, we're in church. And I go, yeah. He goes, I'll slap you. So, so I'd like to thank the board at this time. At this time, I'd like to have a nomination for vice chair.
I nominate Gary Cardamom.
I'll second it.
One star.
Seriously? Okay, roll call, it would be Cardamom.
Vote for myself.
Yeah, I had to vote for myself. Yeah.
Sure.
Gabarski,
Aye.
Reckler,
Aye.
Sensi,
Aye.
Shovelin. Welcome, welcome. All right. What I'd like to do is, after that, we did the vice president. At this time, we're not going to do a secretary because our meetings are recorded. So we have this lovely lady over here in the corner. She does all our meetings. So the only thing that I'll do is the next time we meet, I will have the minutes from this meeting. I'll prepare them myself because they're very short, and with the reorganization, and I'll have them with the agenda for the next meeting. But at this time, I'd like to thank our secretary. She's very good. She comes all the time, and she gets everything right. That's the good thing. Okay. Moving on the agenda. A couple things, housekeeping before we move on to open it up for our hearings. One of our board members is having a little difficulty getting here on Monday, so I pulled the board with the solicitor, and we are now going to meet on the second Wednesday. Instead of the Mondays, we will eat on the second Wednesday. So if you're ready, I'll write down, I'll give you the dates. It's February 11th, March 11th, April 15th, May 13th, June 10th, July 15th, August 12th, September 16th, October 14th, November 11th, and December 16th. They will remain at 6 o'clock. Do I need a motion for that, Dan?
Just a motion to adopt those dates as announced.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to take the date
Second it.
Wednesday.
Roll call will be Cardamom,
Aye.
Gabarski,
Aye.
Reckler,
Aye.
Sensi,
Aye.
Shovelin. Yes, motion passed. Okay, a couple other things on there. I just want to get a little bit of a procedure out there. It seems it's out there for the public that we have access to everything that happens. I just want to let you know, we do not know, we're kind of like a quasi-group, and let me just explain that in layman's term. We are like a jury. We don't know what's the actual facts of these hearings. We know the date, the time, the applicant's name, okay? At the township building, anybody can come in and take a look at the application and review those. We do not get anything, and I don't want to get anything, and I don't discuss it, and I know that this board, who I am very, very proud of, we don't talk about this till the hearings here at night. We do the guidance of our solicitor. We are told that this is when we look at these hearings, because we want to remain fair, balanced, and unbiased. And our solicitor is our guiding light. Thank you, Dan. That's all you're going to get tonight for that. Okay. But he has instructed us and guided us, and we are following his guidance. So we don't talk, we don't know about this till we get here at night. So I don't, please feel that we try to maintain these hearings fair and balanced as possible. We follow the ordinance, and we follow the guidance of our solicitor with the law. Okay. Moving on, at this time, I'm going to close out the reorganization meeting, and I'm going to open it up now for our first hearing is, at this time, it's David Irwin's, 170 Fort Street, Oneida, Pennsylvania, 18242. Parcel 090200030004. At this time, I'd like to open it up. Solicitor?
All right, thank you. Just to set the scene, Mr. Irvin was here before the zoning hearing board in June. The substance of the current, it was approved to construct a pole barn on the property. However, we were informed through the zoning officials that he sought a small expansion to this structure, and I want him to present the case now and just essentially lay out the differences in the initial approval by the zoning hearing board and the new structure as proposed, because it's important that the zoning hearing board, as well as everyone in the township, knows exactly what is being built and what was approved. So it's important that we do this in a public setting. So thank you, Mr. Irvin, for coming back. And now I just want you to just lay out exactly what you're requesting and the differences between the first approval and this approval, and then anyone in the township who's an adjoining landowner or may be affected by this for the ordinance can then speak after that or ask questions. And then we'll let the zoning officer then chime in. Okay. Over to you, sir.
I'm here to amend my variance that was approved on June 17th, 2025 by this board. I received a 40 by 52 pole barn that is sitting on my lot instead of a 40 by 50. Rather than getting old.
And we all.
Rather than going through the hassle of returning it, which is costly and time consuming, I'm here to seek approval for this minor change. Also, I would like to move the pole barn to the left side of the property, which still meets setback requirements.
Zoning officer, can you just describe the difference between the initial approval, that structure, and the new proposed pole barn and how that affects the property? Does it go into any setbacks? Does it violate any impermeable restrictions, etc.?
So the denial letter matches very similarly to the first denial letter, where we reference land development approval, sewage disposal approval, and the permitted use approval. So these are all things that were previously approved. And also the setbacks, the distance from the driveway to the side property line, not depicted, requires a minimum of 15 feet to any property line. And the setbacks.
The setbacks all met. The setbacks are all met.
Okay.
Yeah, the setbacks are.
Excuse me, ma'am, I need your name, I don't know.
I'm sorry, Candace DeLuca.
She's a zoning officer.
Okay, sorry, I've never seen it before, so I didn't know.
Even though the structure is being moved,
Okay.
the location of the structure meets the setback requirements.
Okay. Board, do you have any questions?
So we're looking at what, under 80 square feet?
basically just because the zoning approval was changed, because he's asking to do something other than what the board previously approved, he just has to come back because of that, because of what he's doing require the variance.
Mr. Irvin, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No.
Does anyone from the community or any adjoining landowners like to make a comment? Sir, just stand up, be sworn in, and state your name and address, please.
Robert Yurcho, 52 3rd Street,
Hold on, you
Long
gotta
Island.
spell that.
Robert, you're going too fast.
Spell your last name.
YURCHO.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yep,
And your address?
52 3rd Street.
Okay.
I can't believe that could somebody answer my question of, is this zoned as residential or commercial? Where he's putting this building?
So this property is located in the R2 zoning district.
So is that residential?
Yes.
Okay. So he's gonna put a building up there and bring in logs and mulch and put it in that building. And, because that's what it says on, in the paper, that's what he's gonna do. He's building a building to put 9 vehicles in and to store mulch and logs. So where are the logs coming from? How could you bring logs in from somewhere else? That's all I want to know from the zoning.
It's his business, logging.
But it's not a business, Joey, where it's at. It's residential.
You can,
Huh?
Where's the, how close are you?
I hear it, I see it. Okay? I
There's a
see it.
building between you and him.
Yeah, I know. But at
And how can you
7:30 or 8 o'clock at night, nobody else is moving but up there. I just want you to answer that. How could you go and put a building up there like that and what are you going to do with mulch in a building? Tell me.
You're gonna keep it dry.
And do what with it then, Joey?
Put it somewhere where he's doing landscaping.
Yeah, but it's a business, Joey. So you're going to tell me he's not going to bring people in there and say, oh, I got mulch for you to buy? Come on.
are you, Dave?
No.
It's a little town. Come on, Oneida, a little town. There's 6 streets on it.
There's so many kids that are riding bikes and everything in summer.
Ma'am,
Yeah, you're not.
Correct me if I'm wrong, this is kind of like, this point is kind of like not moved because we've already approved the original,
Correct.
correct? So all we're doing at this hearing is defining the property with the new building, correct?
Correct. And then
So,
after the board's satisfied with Mr. Irvin's presentation, that, there was a change from the initial approval, there is extra square footage, it doesn't go into setbacks. Sir, how far are you away from this property?
I'm right on top of 3rd Street.
Can you give me a distance in like 0.1 miles, 0.2 miles, 100 yards?
I can't give you that distance. I don't know.
Well, we need.
I don't want, well,
So what you are doing is objecting essentially to his use of this proposed use of this property. But what you need to have is something called standing, right? And you need to be affected by this proposed use of this property. So the board needs to know, and I need to know, how far is your property away from Mr. Irvin's property, and how would you personally and your property be affected?
now, would it be a bird fly, or what do you ask?
Yeah, that's a crow flies, that's fine.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yep. And then how the road, and the road as well.
Well, I travel the road that he's using, the North Street. It's a mess. I mean, they are bragging that the streets are good. They're not good. Go over there and look at it. The roads are terrible there.
Okay, so we're not defining
Okay.
the roads here.
Right.
Just want to know Is it a half mile? Is it a quarter mile?
It's not even a quarter mile.
Is it 500 yards?
Like I said, it's
Is it 100
probably,
yards?
probably
Give it your best guess, sir.
2 football fields, if that.
200 yards.
There you go, 200 yards.
200 yards.
And it's not even that, probably.
What was your specific address, your mailing address in here?
52 3rd Street, P.O. Box 30, Oneida, PA.
Zoning, were they covered under the ordinance for notification? We have sir, your name one more time, I'm sorry.
Robert Yurcho.
Mr. Irvin, to clarify for the board, obviously you brought up some potential issues with storing, contracting supplies, mulch, wood. You want to just address how you're going to do that and how you can minimize the impact if you can?
I cut trees for a living. And certain trees you just don't throw in or pay to get rid of. So I save them up and have somebody come in once every 6 months to grab them, maybe 4 months. I'm not going to just throw them away, but pay to get rid of them. And I can sell them to somebody for a couple bucks. I mean, that's how I make my living.
Do you do this at night?
Not at night. The 8 o'clock's usually my cutoff. If I'm late working, then yeah, I'll get there late, but I just drop a load of wood and leave, or put my stuff away. Drop my trailers. I don't make any lot of noise or nothing, just drop my equipment off and leave.
Does the board have any more questions on proposed use? Or?
Dave, you have no customers coming in and out?
No.
You're not showing any?
I don't sell things off my lot.
Right.
So Dave, so what you're saying is, like the mulch is there, I can't just come to your place and buy
No, they're wood
3
chips.
yards of mulch and
Wood chips. It's not
wood
mulch,
chips
wood
or
chips.
whatever.
Yeah.
So you're not running that kind of business?
No.
You have wood chips, you take them, bring them back and forth.
Right. Right.
And the majority of, if I'm correct, the majority of your business is Eagle Rock. You're cutting the trees down, and the mulch goes down to the equestrian center. I mean, the trees that you take, you cut down, and it goes to the equestrian center. Am I correct?
Yeah, sometimes I can't get in the equestrian center, so I have to drop it at my lot, then I'll haul it down there at a different time.
So you're not selling it
No.
out of your barn. It's already going to another place.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Gotcha.
I have something.
Your name, please?
Sally Urich. We live right on,
Same last,
Oh.
same spelling?
Y-U-R-I-C-K. We live right on North
Please raise
Street.
your right
Oh.
hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, I swear. We live right on North Street, and so he would go past and go right to that corner, and that corner is the nicest it's ever been, and it stopped people with backpacks going back there to grow marijuana and all, and he sectioned the whole thing off. And it's my understanding what he's doing is the building is a few feet bigger, and he's angling it different back there, so it actually pushed it back instead of being right in the middle, so it got closer to the back. But nothing shakes on our house, and it's our house and then our big garage, and then it's down 3rd Street, but Dave doesn't go up and down 3rd Street, but he'll drive across North Street to go back there. And he's actually really helpful in the neighborhood. If somebody has a problem with the tree and stuff like that, he'll help people with it.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, the original application, you did put in some landscaping and trees and all that. He did a whole bunch of that, correct?
Yes.
He got crap out of there and took out where people would go to sit and with beer bottles and all that. So the only noise might be if he went up the road and drops his stuff and goes. Before, it was people in there and lights and, drug needles, all kinds of stuff. That's gone. And people climbing through the property, it's now close to private. That's gone.
Okay. Thank you.
Just to answer Mulhern's earlier question, so we did review who received the notices.
Okay.
I do not believe Mr. Yurchak is an adjoining property owner, so you wouldn't receive those notices.
Okay. And just, I don't know if you don't have the GIS.
I can go
We
pull it
can
up in
pull it
our
out.
office, absolutely. Yeah, I'll go get it, I'll print it out.
I don't know if it's necessary, but I just wanted to verify that. So is it your position that Mr. Urban's ownership of the property has actually improved the neighborhood and surrounding areas?
Yes.
Or is it?
Do we have anything else? You want to call for a vote right here, or do you want to talk about it, or do you want to do?
Pretty good.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to, how about,
Approve the variance as there is a small increase in the footprint from the original June variance, which was already approved.
I'll make a motion.
second. All those in favor?
What?
Aye.
Aye.
First of all, let me do a roll call. We would be Cardamone,
Aye.
Gavarsi,
Aye.
Reckla,
Aye.
Sensi,
Aye.
Shelburne, aye. Passed. Congratulations. You're welcome. Next on our agenda is, let me look here, it is, it is Marmel Industrial LLC hearing, 10 Main Street, Main Boulevard, I'm sorry, Ringtown, Pennsylvania, 17967, zoning district. So,
All right, thank you. Now we're going to hear Marmel's substantive validity challenge to the zoning classification of a specific parcel. Are you representing Marmel?
I am.
Okay. Would you just please state your name for the record and be sworn in, sir?
Danny Dancherson, Brandonville.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, sir, why don't you just walk us through the background of the property and your previous experience before the zoning hearing board, just to set the scene.
Okay. My company, Marmel Industrial, purchased this property through a realtor that was selling the property for the Shepton Oneida Volunteer Fire Company. What you did is you had to put your offer in. I don't recall, but there was close to 10 offers. There was close to 10 offers on the property, and I was the highest bid on the property. So my company, Marmel Industrial, acquired the property once again from the Shepton Fire Company. Now, the property is located in the Brandonville Industrial Park. It is currently an industrial park. It houses 2 industrial tenants. They are Infinity Springs water bottling plant. It houses PennDOT Northern Schuylkill maintenance shed. They are in the industrial park. Marmel Industrial owns the majority front and center of the industrial park. It was formerly known as Industrial Drive. It has an extra wide entrance because it goes into the industrial park. The problem right now is that the zoning for all tenants is wrong. Marmel Industrial zoning is C1. And if you research the C1 requirements, you are only allowed to have a building 2,000 square feet maximum. Marmel Industrial already has a building of 5,200 square feet. Infinity Springs water bottling plant has the wrong zoning as well. They have a few 100,000 square foot building, along with PennDOT. Like all the people that are in the park have industrial settings. So if I want to put a building on the property, I have to come in front of the board every time that I want to do anything, because the zoning is wrong. Like it needs to be industrial zoning. Now, obviously, the size of the industrial park, it's a small industrial park. You can't put an Amazon-sized building in the industrial park. It's too small. But you can put a building like bigger than the current building, like say 10,000 square feet, to house smaller businesses in that park. But I currently can't do that because the zoning is wrong. It's been an industrial park for over 50 years. There are tractor trailers that go in and out of there every day to the water bottling plant, taking stuff in and taking cases of water out. PennDOT's got triaxles and all kind of large machinery in and out all day, every day, all year. Amazon, FedEx, UPS are in and out of the park all day, every day. Now that Marmel Industrial owns the ground and I want to develop this park, I want to at a minimum put one or more buildings that are approximately 10,000 square feet in the industrial park. The zoning is wrong. You cannot put a large building or a data center won't fit in the industrial park. It's not even possible, just so everybody knows. And it's basically a good analogy would be if someone went into Hemlock Estates in Shepton and they buy a lot. They want to put a house, they have all right to do that. If someone goes into Eagle Rock and buys a lot, they have all right to put a house. It's their right to put a house. Marmel Industrial bought commercial ground. They have all right to build in it and on it. But the zoning is wrong. And this board is going to eventually see the water bottling plant and PennDOT, because their zoning has to be corrected also. And I'm tired of paying to come in front of you, and I want to thank you for hearing my case. And I really appreciate your time, but I just don't think that it's fair that I have to come in front of the board every time that I want to do something. I would like to take my current tenant that people are not happy with the way they stack their brand new equipment, and I would like to put them in a building that's back in the industrial park a little further, and find a new tenant that stacks and keeps everything just so perfect, so no one could bitch in the town. So, basically that sums everything up. Thank you very much for your time.
Manny, have you contacted the water people or PennDOT?
Pardon?
Have you spoke to PennDOT or the water people to join you in this, or
I spoke.
you're a lone wolf on this?
I'm the lone wolf, but I can tell you for certain that the water bottling plant is coming. They are 100% coming, because just say they sell that building, which is huge. I didn't measure it obviously, but the size of it is a few 100,000 square feet. If they go and sell that building and someone wants to go and make a sparkling water, they're going to have to come up here and get permits. They are non-conforming like myself right now. Their business in that industrial park does not fit their zoning. They are definitely coming.
So when that property was purchased, those two, PennDOT and the water company, they were grandfathered in then under the,
I don't think they were, I can't answer that, but I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna take a shot at it. There's never been an issue, like it's the Brandonville Industrial Park. Once that changes hands, and they go to do something else with that large building in there, clearly they're gonna have to come in front of the board to get it rezoned, no matter what they do. Just say, for example, they go and sell it to, if they go and sell it to someone that makes parts or furniture, they're gonna have to come here because if I'm not mistaken, their zoning, well, it depends on where you look, because our maps are not updated. The maps in this building and on the website are not updated. It still shows the Marmel Industrial property, which is the majority of the industrial park. It still shows that as residential and other things, but it was upon the purchase from the Shepton Fire Company, it was zoned C1. But C1 is completely wrong for that property.
Rick, do you have anything?
Okay, now I don't see a question.
I'm trying to look at your, again, because we get these things right before the meeting, a lot of us don't have a chance to read it, but can you summarize for me so I don't have to do it, the letter you sent? Oh, Rick, I don't have it here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read it.
Great, you're asking me?
Yes, Greg.
So essentially, the zoning permit application was submitted to the East Union Township Code Office requesting a zoning designation to be changed. Because our office, that's not typically something that the zoning officer can approve.
That's
we
great.
Deny the zoning permit application. So the property is located per the zoning map that our office has. It's located in the R1, C1, and CR zoning districts. The zoning permit application has been denied pursuant to the applicable sections of the zoning ordinance, such as section 1508A. And this has to do with the jurisdiction of the zoning hearing board. The zoning hearing board, in accordance with the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, shall have the exclusive jurisdiction to hear and render final adjudication in the following matters: substantive challenges to the validity of any land use ordinance, except for those brought before the Township Board of Supervisors under section 1403.1 of this ordinance. Essentially, what we're saying is the zoning hearing board has not provided a final adjudication of your zoning hearing board application for the validity change.
Thank you, thank you.
Right, and so just to chime in, the zoning hearing board has the jurisdiction of this, so the zoning officer cannot grant substantive validity challenge. And just to set the scene, Marmel has the burden. So right now, what we have is permanent application as well as your appeal, correct?
Yes,
And you submitted that to the zoning officer.
yes.
Would you mind I don't believe you have it with you, do you?
I think it's in here.
It is there, okay. Just review that, because obviously if you want, you should make that part of the record, and you should submit it to our stenographer to make that part of the record.
Well, in this packet that I got tonight, there's two, the other hearing for Mr. Irvin is also in here.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
You can
I
just
did,
submit your version.
right, I did review all of our documents that are in here.
Okay.
And they're right. I would like to add, please, two things. Number one, if you read the language in the deed, when it was conveyed to the Shepton Fire Company to Marmel Industrial, you will see in there that it mentions that the property is located in the Brandonville Industrial Park. It was formed back in the 70s, and it was formed, the company that formed it was SEDCO, Schuylkill Economic Development Company. It just was never fully developed. It mentions all of that in the deed. The other thing I would like to mention is that the property that I would like to have the zoning corrected on has 2 PIN numbers. It's made up of 2 PIN numbers, and they are listed in, if you look in the documents, I don't know if they're on the application or if they're on the information that our zoning provider. Yes, they're on the front page from Advanced Code. It has 2 PIN numbers.
I'd also like to add, there is a copy of the deed in
Yeah, I see it.
the application.
So is it your position that based on the deed, when you purchase this property, and then based on the zoning, which has 3 different zoning classifications, the zoning classifications essentially confiscate your property to your property?
Exactly.
Okay. And have you reviewed all of the submissions in this packet?
I did.
Would you like to submit it now to the board as exhibits?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything that's in here.
This is everything you submitted
Yes,
to our office.
yes, I'm very familiar with it, and it's all correct. I would like to, I'm not sure if it's in the packet, but I would like to submit into everything else about the current building size requirements of 2,000 square feet under C1 zoning. I have a copy of the ordinance.
So, just to clarify, it's your position that the building right now that's in 3 different...
Is non-conforming.
In that it's larger.
It's 5,200 square feet when it's only allowed to have 2,000 square feet. And the Infinity Springs water bottling plant is 200,000 square feet, and they're only allowed to have 2,000 square feet.
Okay. So, adjoining properties are similarly situated in that
Exactly,
the zoning is incorrect.
exactly.
The applicant is now submitting all of their exhibits, which includes the application, supporting documents, their appeal, supporting documents, maps, and they just included part of the zoning ordinance outlining dimensional requirements for zoning. Do you have an affidavit of posting, or was the property properly posted?
I have the affidavit of posting.
Okay, please submit that as well. Questions from the board? We've been provided packets. If you have any questions, there's some examples in there. If not, we can move on and have possibly the zoning officer just discuss or answer any questions.
I would just add, there is photographs of the posting for both hearings in the packet.
We'll submit that. Do you have anything else you would like to say before you're open to questions?
No, everything is submitted.
So at this point, based on the testimony of Marmel, I believe that he's met his initial burden, proving that the current zoning is confiscatory. And now we have to present, we have to hear evidence and solicit testimony and possibly objections from anyone in the audience as well as zoning as to why we shouldn't grant this. So he's met his initial hurdle. That doesn't mean that the board must vote in that favor. Everything should be determined, and it's open now to anyone who wants to, who has standing, like we talked about earlier, who will be affected by this, who's an adjoining landowner, to now question Marmel and with the zoning officer, and the board can do that as well.
Will we be, just adding on here, needing to have 2 more hearings? That is properly set. Because there's two more properties in question there, the PennDOT and the water.
So I agree. I think, but just to tighten it for tonight, we're only going to, I recommend the board only looks at this specific issue. If Infinity Springs and PennDOT want to come in here, we're proposing curative amendment to the township, that's their prerogative.
Will they be required to come?
Well, however they use the property, I don't know if it's in conformity or not. We haven't had any complaints, have we, zoning? Do you know?
Not aware of any complaints with how they're using the property. It's been in those uses prior to us taking, position as a zoning officer. So we haven't investigated those unlawful uses.
Right. Well, just because no one has presented any testimony or exhibits for Infinity Springs or PennDOT, I don't want to piggyback on Monty, because it's about you and your specific property.
Pretty much, that's on them.
Right. I would just keep it very focused on this appeal.
Who's that time?
Sure. But the township obviously can review their zoning maps and classifications and propose their own curative amendments if the township supervisors choose to.
But in the adjoining property owners, Infinity Springs did receive notice of this, so they were aware. I don't see PennDOT on that, but the Springs, they were notified, they are on this list.
Okay, good. Questions for the applicant from the board?
You know what, can I defer and listen here from the general public, and then I can read?
Absolutely.
Okay. This time I'm going to open up to the public. Please say your name slowly, your address, and get sworn in. And I'll recognize you as, yes, sir?
My name is Jonathan Good. I have an adjoining piece.
Hold on.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah, I'm good. I have an adjoining piece of property in the Rhineville Industrial Park. So, I've come in front of the board before. You already know the history of it, so.
But you wanted to be recognized, and that you wanted that, did you?
No, I'm just explaining that I have a piece that it's residential, so.
Okay. Duly noted. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am?
Caroline,
Name, slow, and get sworn in.
Caroline McCall, MCCOLL, 23 Main Boulevard.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do. Okay, I have a couple questions. What do you actually eventually plan to put on that building site? And PennDOT has been there since I've been a kid, and I'm in my 60s. So it's been there since the 70s, minimum. Okay? We see a lot of truck traffic and a lot of accidents and stuff like that going into that property, and that is the only ingress and egress out of there that's technically usable. All right? Plus there's also flooding that happens back there.
So are you addressing me or?
Yeah. And wait, I got one more thing. He told us when he purchased the fire company, we're going to have it as a farmer's market. He says we're going to have some buildings in there and like groups come in and sell things. He never said anything about what they have there now. Never.
Okay, so, what were the questions again? The first question?
What's your plans for it? Eventual plans?
Well, what my plans are to put one or more buildings in the park.
To do what?
and lease them.
To do what?
Oh, I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I mean, it would be wonderful to get like, someone that makes horse saddles or baseball bats, or, I'm not sure.
Okay, Danny, we were under the impression that you wanted to put in like a small fiber optic little building.
Yeah, that's right. That's already,
That's fine.
that's already gonna happen.
That's fine.
But inside the park, in the park more, I'm gonna put, again, when you buy a commercial piece of property, you should be able to do what you want on that commercial piece of property. When that property had numerous school buses on it that you drove, it had school buses in and out, up and down, back and in and out, all over, all day.
No.
Now there's no school buses there. Might be, what I'm trying to say, it's a commercial, it's a commercial property. Like PennDOT, sometimes, they have gigantic equipment coming in there for a job that they're doing in the area. Like no one's saying to them, hey, I only want your truck that has plows on it. Why are you bringing this gigantic piece of equipment? Like you can't tell PennDOT, that's their location, that's what they purchased, just like the water bottling plant. You can't go and tell them, hey, this truck is enormous. You're like, we only like the little trucks that you're bringing in. I mean, they bought commercial property. You can't, it's commercial property. I'm not aware, I grew up in that town just like you, and you and I roamed that town together. I'm not aware of the flooding part. And
You haven't been back to it?
I'm back there, I spent my whole life back there.
No, actually, you didn't, but okay. You lived in it. I know. I'm just saying.
And I don't want to,
I know.
ma'am, I don't want the debate going back
I'm
and
not
forth.
going to.
Question, answer, question.
I'm not quite sure.
Anybody else? Oh, was there a second question? I'm sorry, Mrs. McCall.
Yes.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Our water table is already fluctuating very badly because of the water bottling plant. Depending on what he chooses to lease the property to, is either going to drain us completely because we're all on wells, or are they going to pay to put in some kind of water plant?
Well, again, you said it. The Infinity Springs water bottling plant already siphons all that water out of the ground. That's already beyond, like, it doesn't matter. You should be questioning Infinity Springs to make sure that they don't take any more water if that's a concern. Like, I have nothing to do with the water that's in the ground. But I do know, like you know, they're in the industrial park and they take the water out of the ground.
They take it off the mountain.
It's surface water.
They take it off the mountain that comes from mine.
I don't think they're taking anything out of the ground.
That I don't know. I do know that they have the equipment there, that they're extracting water somehow. Whether it comes out of the ground or off of the mountain, I'm not exactly sure. But they do get water there somewhere.
Okay.
I'm not an adjoining property owner, but I do own a lot of property close by. Can I
Ma'am, can I
ask
have your
something
name?
to the...
Before you start, I need your name.
Jill Kariba, 519 Beattyville Road.
Can you spell your last name?
Yep. C-A-R-E-Y-B-A.
C-A-R-E-Y.
B-A.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. I would just like to ask the board, before you make a decision, please look at the list of things that can go into an industrial zone. Once it's like that, once it's changed industrial, it's there. Could be anything from a warehouse, a data center, a methadone clinic. Look at in our book before you vote. look and see all the different things that can go in industrial site. And it's a small, there's houses very close. So I just wanted to remind you of that, to look to see everything that could go in there. Yard, it could be, I mean, we're only here right now. Other property owners, the zoning will stay, whether they own it or not, once it's changed, is what I'm trying to say. And once it's changed to industrial, it's gonna stay that way.
You're referring to permitted uses
Yeah.
in the various zoning
So let's look at
classifications.
our book and see everything that,
C1, C2 and industrial.
yeah, I mean, it is a list of different things that can go in industrial. Before you vote, please look at that list.
Excuse me. Is it normal that we are listening to a sitting supervisor?
I'm not here as a
Trying to-
supervisor, I'm a resident. I did say I'm not an adjoining property owner, but I own a lot of property in that area.
But she has zero standing, and she, as a sitting supervisor, is trying to interfere with Marmel Industrial doing business?
Let me hop in here, and I'll just ask, as a citizen in the township, we talk about standing. How far is your residence from this property?
I'll put,
Miles.
Well,
it is
just sir,
not
sir,
mine, it's on the racetrack, Danny. We own property very close back to there.
No, well, man,
Well, a couple hundred feet.
you're a couple hundred feet from
Yeah.
this property?
That's not true.
Which property? What's the address of this property?
I don't know, it was known as the racetrack. I don't know what the address is.
Okay.
It's behind, it's behind all of the houses. I don't know the address.
How would this property that's, you call the racetrack, be adversely
Well, I
impacted
just
by?
got done saying, I don't own property up against it. That's not the thing. I just want to make sure that all the people who are going to vote see what all can go into that industrial zone.
And-
I
and
said
it's
I'm
not-
here as a resident.
Right, it's not my job to weigh in on that. My job is just to get facts on the record to determine if you would have standing. So I'm just parsing that out, that's all. Okay.
Amy Ostra, Austra, Brandonville, Pennsylvania.
Hold on, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And your address?
Brandonville, Pennsylvania.
What's the specific address, ma'am?
595 Ratlin Run Road.
And how far are you from the subject property?
2 miles? I'm not really good at judgment.
2 miles.
Yes. I mean, if somebody else thinks I'm closer or further.
Close enough.
Okay. Oh, about a mile, I guess, I'm sorry. I have a question for how this decision is made. When you're looking at if it was properly zoned to begin with, I understand that there's issues, I understand there's PennDOT back there, I understand that there's Infinity Springs back there, I understand the title, the Brandonville Industrial Park. As Danny had said, it was known by a different name in the past. How far do you guys look back when, was it ever zoned industrial? If it was titled the Brandonville Industrial Park, my assumption would have been it should have been converted at that time. Was the zoning bounced around, I guess is what I'm asking.
That I don't have a clear record of.
Okay.
Obviously, we have exhibits that have been admitted by the applicant, which is from 2023.
Okay.
We have our zoning officer, who's, they're the experts in determining how the zoning property is classified. Right now, there's 3 different zones and 2 different pins, correct? Like I said at the beginning, the party challenging the zoning has the burden to prove that it's arbitrary, doesn't make sense, it's unconstitutional, it's confiscatory, right? So that's why we have these hearings. So it's his burden to prove some of those elements. I recommended that, and I determined that he did meet that initial burden to get over the hump, saying, I bought this, it was commercial, I didn't know it was commercial, it's always been commercial for many, many years. Here's the map, here's the surrounding uses of it, here's how it affects me. I have this property that's already way bigger than it's even allowed to be in these 3 different zones. So that's how you get over the first hump. Now we're at the second hump of the board, where the board takes in evidence, here's testimony from adjoining landowners. We can take, the general comments as the chairperson allows from citizens, but it's really about who will be impacted close by, right? We can't really speculate onto, this might affect traffic, or we might have something go in there.
Yeah, that's not what I'm asking at all. I'm just asking, was it ever zoned industrial to begin with, that we know of? I understand what Danny is saying in terms of the deed, right? But we all know how deeds are written. You as an attorney would know that. Attorneys construct deeds. The property was originally transferred to the citizens of Brandonville. Are you okay, Mr. Recklow?
1 second, stop. Do you have a bottle of water here?
One in the car, if you want.
Put your hearing, please.
Yeah, my car. There's one of yours. There's one, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just want.
Oh, sure.
They're gonna give you water.
How about little tiny mints?
That's how it is.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You good? Okay?
Mrs. Oshra, I can tell you that I personally had no involvement in the initial zoning of the area.
No, and I
I
understand.
don't know if anybody on the
No.
board at this time had any direct input into what was classified, how the map came to be for different areas.
Because I understand that Danny has pointed out there's issues with it. Yes, I understand that. But as Jill stated, there are a multitude of uses once it's changed to industrial.
I agree.
And if you look at that area in there, I think Mr. Good was trying to bring up the fact that he has a very small piece that Danny's property surrounds that is classified as residential. Now, there's been discussion about the road going into the Brandonville racetrack, industrial park, whatever we're calling it for right now's purpose. And there is a lot of traffic, but since a lot of things appear to have been missed along the way, was there ever a traffic study done to see if that road, exactly, I know, Ms. Shevlin, you're saying, I don't know.
I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying, before you guys take this into consideration, since there were so many things done improperly or incorrectly, if you can, like Mr.
We
Reed.
don't, wait, stop, Dan, stop. We don't know if they were done improperly. All we're hearing tonight is what Danny's saying, that this piece of property was, in your thoughts, it was zoned incorrectly. Am I getting this right?
It is clearly.
And I'm sorry if when you get old, you get a little overwhelmed here, so I'm just trying to stay on the same path here. I don't think anybody on this board, and I think Joe, you're the oldest, I don't think you would even.
She's actually pouring that out.
Gary, you're the vice chair, you might be chair next year. So, I don't think any of us know the history of it. So we can't address that, correct, Dan?
Well, first thing, Mr. Good, I know your name was referenced. Do you agree with what she indicated?
I'm kind of part of the equation, yeah.
Just for the record,
It's
I just want to make
residential,
sure
yeah.
that you concur with what she said.
Yeah, it's residential, and he surrounds me, yes.
And then, ma'am, do you have any evidence that things were done improperly? Do you have anything to submit to the board?
I have the deeds going back to.
Do you have them with you tonight?
I can send them to you, yes, I have them electronically. I have the deeds going back to 1934.
We need those tonight, or unless the board wants to wait.
I think we should look it over because some of the zoning, like industrial is like, wow, bring what you want. Commercial is such and such. And you gotta be careful of that.
I just feel like you can call it like my farm, that I grew up on is the Oster farm, right? Well, now I'm married, I'm Ostergerna, right? So people still refer to it as the Oster farm. I understand what Danny's saying, it's the Brandonville Industrial Park by name. But if there was no evidence that it was ever zoned industrial and PennDOT and Springwater bottling plant got away with it, I think that maybe...
What, this question I had though, on your deed, but on the deed transfer, it does say industrial park going over to you. Am I correct on that?
Yes, it's, in the language, it refers to the Brandonville Industrial Park. Everybody knows that it was the Brandonville Industrial Park.
No, I know that, Danny, but I just want to say, what was on the deed? That's a starting point for us.
Because I have the deed prior also that I went down to the courthouse and pulled.
One question, ma'am.
Yes.
You talked about that you live somewhere between
A mile, I guess, yes.
You guess?
A mile, yes.
Do you have GPS on your phone?
Would you like my address? You can Google it.
Yes.
Okay, his address is 10 Elm Street. Mine is 595 Ratlin Run Road, Ringtown. You're welcome to Google Map it.
Yes, okay. Are you speaking about the zoning from the general citizen perspective?
Yes.
Or will this affect you personally where you live every day?
Well, since I live in Brandonville, I have a well, which is brought up today. I have a septic tank, which is all part of underwater. I have breast cancer, which can be linked to environmental pollutants. I mean, yes, it could potentially affect me, being it's only a mile away.
Any other questions?
1 minute before you go on, I'm trying to see this deed. Okay, please just, again. Give me a minute. Again, it's really going back there. Bob Gabarty. I mean, I put you on the spot and everything. You were part of the sale, correct?
From the fire department being sold.
To Dan.
Correct.
Did the paperwork say industrial? I mean, did you have anything there? I'm looking here, it does.
Does he need to be sworn in?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, you're right. You're right.
Sir, can I have your name, please?
Robert Gabarty, G-A-B-A-R-D-I, 877 Center Street.
Hold on, hold on.
Oh, sorry. 877 Center Street, Chapman.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Gabarty,
Okay.
give us a little history on this, okay?
Okay, originally the Citizens Fire Company of Brandonville was there where it was when they were decertified by the township. And then the building just, they were making an attempt to make it a club and that didn't go anywhere. So the property was actually back and forth between the Attorney General's office and Schuylkill County Attorney General. From there, it took us 7 years to finally be able to acquire the property. What happens to a property like that? It either goes to the fire department or the township could have taken it, either or. It couldn't be sold. Originally, then disperse the money to the people or whatever. We acquired the building, as I said, it took us 7 years to get. After we got it, we went through the building. The building was in shambles. I mean,
I'm not.
but anyway, to continue on with it. Originally, the firehouse sat down the road. They bought that property. They got that property. They built the new firehouse building that's there now. And they eventually acquired different pieces of property, but they had nothing changed. However, the zoning was, that's the way it was. In order for us to sell the property, we had to get it all changed to C1, which we did. But then if you go way back,
Mr. Gabarty, may I ask who Who made that decision to change the zoning?
We went to the county.
The county. So this was before we adopted zoning ordinance?
Yeah.
Can I add to that? It
Wait,
was,
just let Mr. Gabarty finish
Okay.
first, and then I'll get back to you.
Okay, so to go on with the industrial park, since I'm older than Joe, back in the day, when Setco acquired that property, there's two entrances to that property. The entrance off Park Avenue, which was the entrance to the drive-in theater that used to be there way back in the day, and it's looped around and came out where it comes out now. That was when Setco owned it, way back when. The problem with that was it sat vacant for how many years? And it may have been zoned industrial way back when, but zoning was done by Schuylkill County. If you don't use the property for what its intended use, zoning use was, the county will revert it back to what's ever in the general vicinity. So if it's residential, they're gonna make it residential. Whatever it is, the county was the one that was doing the rezoning. And when we acquired that property, we had 5 different deeds, and every one was something different.
Different zoning.
The zoning, because they originally never went and had it transferred into one. In order for us to sell it, we got to be able to sell it and get it all classified as C1.
Now the land's in our lap.
Yeah.
So, may I?
Who's next? Mr. Good, can I have Mr. Good first, and then I'll pass you Danny, please, Mr. Good, go ahead.
which actually means it was kind of zoned wrong because of my property. Because you're creating an island.
Well, that's why East Union Township now has a zoning board.
Okay.
Because, and this is why and it's off the track, but this is why I feel it's very important that we have a zoning board, because Schuylkill County comes in here and just does blank. We take more of a concern for our community. Dan.
Well, clearly, there's a lot of people in this room that know the history of the property. And clearly everyone knows that it has industrial tenants in there now. Now is the time to correct it, because it's in that tract of ground. You got C1, you got CR, you got R. It's wrong. But I'm clearly concerned about
Your property.
my property, which is owned by Marmel Industrial. Like, it needs to be corrected.
The gentleman in the back.
Go ahead, sir.
Your name, please?
Yes, Dino Sicilioni,
Can you spell it for me?
CICIONI.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. And what's your address?
We're a family business owner in the East Union Township Village of Branicle since 1968, under the title of Sicilioni Stone Company.
Do you need more? No? Okay.
Just a little insight, because we're touching on history here. To the best of my recollection, my dad's 92, he's still alive. We were very involved. The Branicle Industrial Park was first founded by the Shenandoah Chamber of Commerce. 2 key individuals, Al Cheslak, which was an officer of the Merchants Bank, and attorney Leonard Schumack, which was also an officer and a director of the Merchants Bank. They founded the industrial park under the title of Branicle Industrial Park, under the jurisdiction of the Shenandoah Chamber of Commerce. In 1985, when the Frankfurt prison became a reality, I know all about that because we followed these prisons as a masonry supplier. We were very successful in selling the goods. The local community shot that down. With a lot of hindsight now looking back, there's been a lot of tax revenue. So, a couple things that I would just wanted to interject, being around here for a long time. We always got to look at the tax revenue. Where we're at now, what is the history of that park, and Sedco took it over, and that became null and void because unfortunately one of the political parties of town shut it down. We had a shot that was going to come here, and all the key players, Wally Barron, Department of General Services at the time, the architect from Philadelphia, how the whole thing ran its course, and it was, just vilified and nullified. If you have any questions, I can't remember a lot of the things that were touched on here, but I just wanted to kind of summarize that, just for the common good. I'm not here to advise pro or con, just want to state a couple facts of my recollection.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, if there was
because
anything.
A lot of this was before us.
Yeah, if there's, I'm going to be 66 this month, so been around a while, but Mr. Gubardi's got me by a little bit yet.
You know what? This is sad, because I'm older than both of them. This is sad, sad.
So when we talk about that roadway going in, the width of that roadway probably in as poor condition as it is, was set up to be able to house that prison. The sewage that's under the ground right now that kids came in and blew up with dynamite, Danny, remember how long ago? That was set up to be able to house it. Obviously, they're going to have to put a well on site because we never had, public water and sewage. But the way that thing was set up, it wasn't designed for the prison, but the prison would have been first class tenant
In the industrial
in the
park.
industrial park.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, I appreciate
If
it.
you remember anything else that, that comes to mind, I'll take a stab at it.
I
But
have
that's
a question.
the general
Yes.
summary.
One of the residents, and I forget which one it was, mentioned the road going in and out. It is my understanding as a former township supervisor, if this was zoned that way, anybody that it's called PP, it's called a private partnership through the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. You, as part of your negotiation, could ask the new tenant to participate on fixing the road. Am I correct? I just want to make sure that I'm right.
That's in the pipeline.
Right,
Agreed.
because, and you can do this through PennDOT, it's called private partnership, and what that involves is, if some company or like Walmart comes in, they are responsible, the seller would make them responsible for doing that whole intersection over in accordance with PennDOT, because they have to get the right of way. They have to get the permit, correct? Oh, you don't know about that? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I think you're the expert on this one.
Okay, all right. And I know that because I did it, so I'm
I have to reiterate, so everybody is clear. You will never get a Walmart or a Home Depot. It is a tiny industrial park.
I know, but I just use them.
But just
as
so everybody
reference.
doesn't think that
Yeah.
we're gonna have Amazon south there. That's not happening.
But what I wanted to address, and I just use them arbitrarily, is I just want to address that you, as the landowner, if you go to lease something and build a building, you can make that part of your agreement. Okay, I
Absolutely.
just want to make sure.
Like it would be nice.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to say,
Wait, 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 please.
yes, Michael McCall.
I'm sorry, sir, I'll get you in a minute.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the
I
truth? So
do.
help you God?
No,
What's-
actually, all I want to know is, Danny says that lot is small. It is very small. He has from basically the industrial road that goes back to the watering plant up to the railroad bed, right?
No.
Up to the highway.
Past the railroad bed. Can you build on the railroad bed?
No.
Can you cross the railroad bed?
Well, the railroad bed's.
No, I'm just asking, you have the house here, your building here. Can you go across that road, that railroad bed and build on the opposite side of that too, but have those two things connected using that railroad bed?
No, because you would need permission
All
from the
right,
railroad.
that's clear enough, that's good enough for me there. Now, those lots are very small. Why can't we just keep the C1 zoning, but give them variances for a building a little bit bigger than what's supposed to be there? It doesn't have to be industrial, but we can give them a variance to say, hey, you want a building that's, can only be built this size on this zoning, but if you give them a variance, you can build a little larger.
But I think that, sir, I think that's one of the things that was your opening remark is you want to get it all done once because,
Well-
wait, let me finish.
Yeah, sorry.
Because you said that you would have to come back every time a new
I
person.
was just gonna say that. He has a great idea. In theory, that's a great idea.
But your
But
long term is
it
the same
would
money.
require me every single time
Right.
that anything would take place.
Well,
in
I'm
the
just
industrial-
answering
Right.
his question because of what you
100%.
said. All right.
He's right.
That gives us the opportunity to come back to say, again, Danny, what are you doing? You know, I don't mind them building a small building here and a small building there, but I mean, I don't want a huge building, you know, whatever.
But
You know,
like just to put it in perspective, like I like to use analogies. If someone goes into Eagle Rock and buys a piece of ground, the neighbors don't have any right to tell them how big their deck or how many bathrooms. They don't have any right to tell them. The people bought ground, they want to build a house, and if they want 8 bathrooms and 4 decks, that is their prerogative.
But they still have, no.
Well, okay, you get my point. You get my point, I'm sorry. Well, my point is, like, the people that buy a ground in Humboldt Industrial Park, like, they're gonna put in, people are gonna tell them, well, we don't want you to put it in. They bought the ground in the industrial park, they're gonna put in there what they need to put in there.
But it's, and again, Danny, I'm not arguing with you. and I'm
I
sorry,
actually didn't
blunt.
finish.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Danny.
That's
No,
okay.
no,
You're fine.
I like your analogy.
You're fine.
I like the analogy. No, you're right. I'm not trying to tell you what to put there. You know, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, we don't want huge build, I know the room is limited, you know,
Yeah,
I mean.
the room, there's not enough ground there to put anything in there that's gonna upset the town. It's just not.
Especially
it's not
crossing the railroad bed. You can't.
Mr. McCall, would it be fair to an owner to require them to come in and spend money every single time with the idea that we're always going to grant it? That's a silly way. I understand what you're saying.
No,
But it's costing the landowner a lot of money that you just say, I'm going to put up a building, but I know it's non-conforming. So now I've got to come in and lay out all this time and money to get a variance and expect the board to give them the variance. And then what happens if the board doesn't give them the variance? It could be a totally different board here, and
This is why we have public opinion.
right, and that's what I'm saying. And then the people that are impacted by it make a strong case against them. So that's why he's looking to get the zoning changed so that he doesn't have to go through that each and every time he wants to put a building up.
It's
Actually, this is-
non-stop. It's
Can I
non-stop
finish what I'm
public
saying,
abuse.
please?
Daniel,
Please. This is not giving a free pass to anybody to just go in and put, I mean, okay, he's got the variance to put, he's putting in the communication, that's fine. I care less. But I mean, to take each, I don't know how he wants to separate these lots in, if he wants to make 10 lots, 2 lots, 3 lots, whatever. What we need to be able to do is come back and say yes or no, as people that have lived there. I don't want to give it an open pass. Let them, I don't want to make it industrial. I keep it C1, C2, whatever it is right now. C1, I think it is. Am I correct?
yeah, it's C1.
It's C1. Let's keep it at that. He can build a building the lots are so small. You can't put that big a building up anyways. You know, whatever, I mean, I get it. The industrial park, is that's what it was called. The PennDOT shed's been there for over 37, I don't know, how many years, 60 years. Now, how the watering plant got there, I don't know. That, I don't know. That's a question for y'all.
No, Mr. Good,
So-
he was up before you, I'm sorry. The guy.
I'm done.
No, I mean behind Mr. Hall. No, you're up, Mr. Hall, you're done.
Just wanted
Is
to
this
touch
the only? I'm sorry.
on 2 subjects. When you go back to the days of the permitting for PennDOT and the water plant, obviously it was a different board. You know, for us to try to characterize and understand, you know, was it industrial, was it commercial, was it C1, whatever be the case, we all remember, they were permitted. We assumed that was legal and legitimate. So I think, we can't force those people to have to come back, like Danny had said before. They're on their own. But let's remember, they were permitted for those applications, and now they don't conform to the square footage.
That goes back to the question to the board.
Well, I'm just saying that you could look at that or pro and con.
Right. Go ahead, Mr. Woods.
This question, if you were to grant him industrial, what does that mean for my property? Is the zoning spotted there? So you're just gonna change the zoning on my property then?
If you apply for it.
How is that even fair, it's spot zone?
I mean, you said your property's residential, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, so,
it's surrounded by his. It would create an island.
How many acres is your
It's
property?
a third of an acre.
How much?
Third of an acre.
A third of an acre.
Yes.
Mr. Good, you could come before this board and make the same pitch, or you could ask the township for a curative amendment, but that's speculative, so I want to focus on him, but I understand your concern.
right. Go ahead, Dan.
He has the same issue. His zoning is wrong. His property was the part of the railroad bed, and his zoning is wrong. He's gonna have to do just like I did, the same thing, and get it corrected.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Oh, sure.
Can I finish lastly, because it may help you or hurt you with instruction. I've been fortunate enough over the years as a masonry supplier to deal with a lot of operations as investors, speculators. We all have to remember, anybody that's going to go put a building up today, whether it's in East Union Township or wherever it might be, I'd say 99% of the time, you don't have a tenant. So you do a lot of this on speculation and risk. And not a lot of people have the wherewithal, have the financing, or the ability to do it themselves. I think we need to stay open for any potential increase in our tax base, and come up with a solution, whether it be square footage, go on the industrial, to protect anybody that's, got an investment, whether it's Danny or myself or anybody else in this room or somebody that can come in here tomorrow. We'll just try to stay open to that.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Thanks for the time.
Oh, you're welcome, sir.
Can you elaborate on the industrial uses on the adjoining properties, Infinity Springs and PennDOT? What type of industrial uses happen on a day-to-day, weekly basis?
Well, PennDOT maintains all the roads for northern Schuylkill County out of that location. I mean, they pull, I saw them in the past 6 months bring in hundreds of tons of material, and they store it on their property. They also dispatch all of the trucks that plow our roads right out here.
Danny, is that a salt, excuse me, Dan, is that a salt shed there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's one of their biggest, locations in Schuylkill County. All the other spots that they have are little tiny ones. When they got a big job going on anywhere in the area, that's like their home base. And Infinity Springs, I mean, they bottle, box, and distribute water. I mean, it's an enormous building and quite a large operation in the industrial park.
Another question.
Wait.
Your question to Danny, was his intention to do the property other than what the property is being used for, or the roads you're being used for?
No, I
thought your question was asking Danny, what are you doing, what do you want to do with this property?
No, my question was more to get a better idea of the industrial uses surrounding the property.
Right, the industrial use is currently inside the park.
Okay, get back to that point. So go around that corner, onto that loop that he's calling the racetrack, or what used to be a movie theater, whatever. People actually have residents, well, I don't know if they're residents, but I think they bought the property on the other side of that. There's I don't know. I don't know who owns if they're subletted out or whatever, but there was lots there, I mean, within 100, 200 yards of where we're talking about.
Residential lots, you say?
Yes, yes. Danny, am I correct? What are those, who are those people?
I don't know, but
Are they even up here?
there's a few.
Do they know about it?
There's a few 5-acre pieces of ground.
Yeah, go ahead.
They bought their ground inside the industrial park, and they're already next to the water.
Inside the industrial park.
Yes.
Are they residential?
It wasn't there, I had no need.
Are they, how close are they to you? If you had to guess. 100, 300 feet.
I actually believe they are residential.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
What's the economic impact on you or the marketability of this land that you own if there's 3 different zoning classifications? How does it affect that if you wanted to sell it?
I spent a lot of money on, I paid a lot of money for this property. I was the high bidder out of numerous bids that were offered on the property. I spent a lot of money improving the property compared to what it was. It was an abandoned, it was an eyesore of the East Union Township in that part of the town. And it is hindering me, it is preventing me from developing the property that I want to develop it into. I bought property in the industrial park, and it is costing me a lot of money for everything that I have to do every single time I want to do something. Just like this hearing tonight. And it'll be every time I want to do something, I have to have another hearing.
Do I have any more questions from the general public? One thing I wanted to tell you though is I really appreciate you folks coming tonight and voicing your opinion. Although some of them are fictitious, but as a concerned resident, I applaud your efforts tonight. Okay?
Can
Yes?
I add one thing on that water plant? I think how it got there was, I don't know if it was Setco sold them that piece of property, and a guy by the name of Frank Povich owned a bottled watering plant in Pine Grove. He was the original guy that built that water plant. And he was building it and building it, and then he ended up selling the bottling plant off. But he was the original guy that built the plant, and I assume he got his permission for that plant to be there by way of Schuylkill County.
Okay. That's probably why.
That's why it's all chopped up.
Wait, let me finish. That's why we probably don't have any recollection of that, because through Schuylkill County, we don't have access to those records right now. Yes, Mr. McCall, you want to say something?
No, you know what, I'm good. Thank
You are? Oh, God, I was looking forward to it. Is anybody else? Anybody else for the good? I think we're going to, have anything?
Exactly.
Before we close the record, is there anything else from zoning? I'm just going to show zoning, just the proof of publication of this in the paper, and if you agree with that, you can give it to the stenographer to make that part of the record. Anyone from the public have any documents they want to submit? Hearing none? So proof of publication submitted to the stenographer as part of township exhibits. And you've already received all the exhibits from Barbell, and you also have the exhibits and appeal and application from Mr. Irvin, correct?
Yes, I mean.
Do you still want the deeds, since we discussed the deeds? I mean, if it's something the board will entertain, I can provide the deeds, or you can go to the courthouse and get the deeds.
It's up to the board, but I believe that you wouldn't have standing to object to this specific piece of property tonight based on your location, and that you wouldn't have immediate and irreparable impact
Well, how about anybody that is close enough? Would you prefer to have the deeds a part of the record?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it'll prove my case.
Absolutely, especially the railroad bed.
Let me think for 1 minute here. I never. You know what? I think what we're going to do right now, what I'd like to do is, I'd like to go in executive session, because I think the board needs to discuss this. And let's go in there and make our discussion. And Amy, if we come out here and we feel that we want this, then I'll tell you then. Is that okay, Dan?
That's fine. I mean, these are a matter of public record. They can be
Yeah.
retrieved by anyone.
But I want to be fair to them, and I want to be fair to the board if they feel, but let's go in and discuss it and see what direction we go. Okay? All right, at this time, I'm going to adjourn the meeting and go into executive session. We'll be back. Oh, yeah, he's in the potty. No, I didn't want to say bathroom, it was kind of crude, potty's kind of cute, you know?
Wow.
Well, the boys are.
That's why I'm trying to.
Everybody's waiting for you, Gary. I said you're on the potty.
It's in a Ford Go.
Oh, yeah, that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, record, we're back in.
All right, this is solicitor speaking. We are back on the record here. All testimony is closed. All exhibits have been submitted to the stenographer. They are in hand. We just had a quick executive session to discuss some of the legal ramifications and discuss the zoning ordinance, burdens of proof in the law. I'm just going to lay out a quick recap of some of the legal discussion that we had, and then I'll call for a vote. Based on the testimony of Marwell today, they met their initial burden of proof to show that the way that this land, these two specific parcels, so just these two parcels is what we're focused on. The zoning is arbitrary. It affects the marketability. These two parcels are surrounded by industrial uses. So we had testimony about PennDOT's uses, industrial use, Infinity Springs industrial uses. Those were submitted as part of the record. We had this appeal, we have maps, we do have a deed in the record as well that we reviewed. And a substantive validity challenge essentially is challenging just those two specific parcels. So any surrounding property or property owners, they're relevant for context of how this property is affected, but nothing that this board can do tonight would affect any of those surrounding properties, just to make that clear. We heard testimony from the zoning officer, we heard testimony, some objections from residents, we heard some general objections from individuals who would live too far away or who would not be affected, who would not, in my opinion, have standing. So cumulatively, the board considered everything. We looked at the ordinance, we looked at the law, we looked at Pennsylvania law, and at this point, I would call for a vote. So I'll frame the motion now. For the board would make a motion to approve the substantive validity challenge, challenging the zoning currently on these two parcels submitted by Marmel. Marmel would request to use these parcels as an industrial use. This would not be a rezoning, but they would be allowed to use these two specific parcels as industrial use, essentially I-1 under the ordinance. So is there a motion to approve that?
Excuse me, before that, did you mention about going back to the board of supervisors?
That would come after the motion.
All right, I'm looking for a motion. Gary, second.
I'll second.
Roll call. Cardamom.
Aye.
Dabarsky.
Aye.
Radcliffe.
Aye.
Sensi.
Aye.
Sheldon. Aye. At this time, the motion passed.
So the motion was passed, so what this means, just for some clarity, it does not change the zoning classification of these specific properties. However, you can use these properties as an industrial use. So essentially you could treat it and have the same protections, restrictions on these two specific parcels as an industrial use. However, the township supervisors can put forth any amendments to this entire area. So any property owners who are affected, the township has that ability within the zoning ordinance to legally change those, we call curative amendments, to essentially cure any other disparities. So we mentioned some other properties that may be affected or improperly zoned. That would be the prerogative of those individuals or the township should they choose to. But at this point, Marmel can use those properties based on the zoning hearing board's determination. However, I have 45 days to provide findings of fact and conclusion of law. So I'll provide those findings of facts and conclusion of law. I'll submit them to the township. They'll be on file. Anybody can take a look at them after they're signed by the board. And at that point, anybody who has standing or believes they have standing would then have 30 days to appeal that decision, okay? Any questions or anything else from the board? Hearing none. Back to you.
All right, before I look for a motion for adjournment, two things I wanted to talk about in the front of the meeting, but kind of just not. About 2 months ago, I reached out to the Board of Supervisors. It was brought up by Jim Kelsey, and I thought it was an excellent idea. The zoning board wants to meet with the township supervisors to talk about our ordinances. We have ordinances that are on the books that are like way old, need to be looked at, need to be updated. We've had a couple cases come here that they were like kind of a little silly. So the Board of Supervisors, Jill, Wendy, and Kyle have graciously agreed to meet with the zoning board in the next month or two, and we're going to discuss ordinances. Number two, I'm going to stress this in public, and I'm going to stress it at the meeting. Get us a map. Don't try, get us a map. Kyle, Wendy, Jill, I've been asking for a new zoning map. Please make it a priority and get it. It helps out so much. On that note, I want to thank everybody. Seriously, it's been a long meeting and I apologize. But again, everybody that spoke here tonight, I do appreciate your comments. They are duly noted. This board strives very hard to be as fair as possible within the ordinance, within the law. Okay? So one of the things about this I'm pushing for is to meet the Board of Supervisors so we can do some of our ordinance work and our map. And again, I'd like to thank our clerk here because she's, God love her, you say your name so fast and the poor girl's trying, so I do appreciate that. And Dan, as always, share our guiding light. On that, I'm going to look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
That's the first time I've heard from you. Second?
Second.
Oh, second. All right, here we go. Cardamone?
Aye.
Gabarsky?
Aye.
Redcliffe?
Aye.
Sensi? Shelton? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.